I'm Claudia Catania, and you're listening to Playing on Air. You are about to hear Waking Up by Cori Thomas. It features Lynnette Freeman and Amy Staats. Imagine two women in their late 30s, one an urbanite in the United States, and the other a villager in Nigeria.
I found a lump.
I found a bump in my left breast.
In my right breast. While I was in the shower. I called my best friend Julie, who called her therapist, who referred me to an internist who knows one of the best breast surgeons in New York. I Googled him, and he looked great. Everyone said he's the best. I called his office. They told me to come in the next day. I canceled a meeting I had with a new client who wants me to decorate her office. My assistant got her on the phone. "I'm so sorry," I said. "I found this lump." She said, "Don't worry. Go and get a massage. And for God's sake, take a Valium or a Xanax for your nerves. This happened to me. It was nothing. But oh my God, someone should complain. What they put you through? I'm telling you, take something."
I went to the clinic. It is 2 hours walk from my village. I stood in a long line and waited and waited. It was raining. I found a big leaf from a banana tree and held it over my head. But no use. And then they turned us away. Too many people, too much HIV, too much typhoid and malaria. Go and come back another day. I turned and walked back to my village. 2 hours. When I had almost reached home, the rain stops falling. Near my house, the chickens and goats greet me, and we all walk together.
They put my breast between two plates and squeeze hard. And squeeze hard. They squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. They squeeze until they get what they want. Then they send me in for the sonogram. The lady squirts cold gel all over my breast. She guides the wand over the gel. She stares at the screen. You look up to her, looking for a clue. She refuses to meet your eyes. "Is it okay?" you ask, and she says, "You'll have to wait for the doctor to speak to you. But can't you just tell me what you think?" you ask. She says, "Sorry, no."
For supper that evening, I pluck a newly killed chicken, season it, and put it in the pot. I feel this stupid little bump inside of me. It is small, like a small pea, like the bead in my daughter's hair. I begin to pray. Dear God, please don't let this small bump kill me. I have 2 boys and a girl, and a husband and these chickens and a goat. My husband has promised me I can begin high school in a year. Please don't let this small bump kill me. Ashe.
The doctor tells me that 80% of these things are benign. "Do you have a family history?" "No," I said. "Good," he says. "Oh, and also you're young." "I don't feel so young," I say, kind of to myself, kind of in a low voice. He doesn't look into my eyes. "You'll have a biopsy tomorrow. The pathology report will tell us what we need to know. For what it's worth, I don't think it's anything." My heart does this little jump. I try to think positive. I try to remember what this thing I read in a magazine said about manifesting your wish by seeing it. My wish right now is that this is nothing. I erase everything from inside my head so that I see nothing. Nothing. Just nothing.
After supper, I say I must walk to my mother's home. My eldest son wants to come. "No," I say, "stay and study your lessons. Do you want to be like me? I don't know book." My mom sends my cousin to get some of the ladies from the village to come right away, because this might be the same breast sickness my grandmother died from.
That night, before I go to bed, I pray. I never pray. I try to remember this prayer my mother used to make me say when I was a little girl. "Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Why would I die before I wake? Why would I want someone to take my soul? Instead of trying to figure this prayer out, I take an Ambien and I sleep.
The ladies stand around me in a circle. Nobody speaks. They put their hands on me. They all put their hands on me, and I feel safe.
I dream about my first night in college. My mother made my bed, for the last time, she said. She put my clothes away in the narrow dresser. I'm retired from motherhood now. You're on your own, kid.
I do not want to die. Oh. If a snake appears and poisons me, so be it. If the rebels come and shoot me or cut my throat with a cutlass, so be it. I cannot control that. But for my own body to turn on me and kill me? No. I cannot accept that.
For the biopsy, you get undressed. You lay face down on a table. They put your breast in a hole which squeezes. A doctor gets under the table and sticks a big needle in your breast. It's the painkiller, but it hurts. Then she inserts another needle for the biopsy. She says, "Don't worry, I do these all day. They find something in maybe one patient every 3 days. And don't move. And don't cry." A nurse holds my hand. She wipes my tears with a tissue. I squeeze her hand as if to say, "Thank you." They send me home with an ice pack.
My auntie makes a paste of hot pepper, mud, and crushed leaves. She says, "Rub this paste over the bump. Bind your breast tightly with a cloth tonight so that the medicine can't enter your skin."
I lay on my purple chaise lounge with an ice pack on my chest and an ice pack over my eyes, and I keep telling myself, if he said it's nothing, it must be nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
I tell my husband, "I cannot raise my legs for you tonight because it is my time of the month." But it was really because of the paste. He is annoyed, but then he says, "You are a good wife." He has never said something like that to me before. It gives my heart hope. But in the morning, the bump feels as if it has grown.
I go to meet the doctor for results. My friend Julie, the lawyer, is with me. They say you should have someone with you. I have not even told my mom. I'll call her with the good news. After this is over, I'll call her with good news.
Finally, I enter the clinic. A white man, who is the doctor, will examine me. A young lady says, "My name is Comfort. I will stay in the room with you." The doctor asks me if I have children, if anyone from my family has ever had a breast sickness, if they died from it, if I am married. And I say, yes. 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 Comfort says, "Undress, then lie down and lift your left arm so he can feel the bump." As his fingers mash around my skin, he closes his eyes as if he is listening to a very quiet sound. When he comes to the spot where the bump is, he stops, and then he mashes there again, and again, and again, as if he is making sure he really feels what he feels. He does not open his eyes. He is hearing something only he can hear. A secret. Does it hurt? His voice is deep. And I do not want to speak because while he is pressing and listening to this bump, I prefer that it is his hand feeling it instead of mine. I prefer that he is listening to its quiet music. Does it hurt? He asks again. I say no, it does not hurt.
The test is positive. You have cancer. That is what he says. That is what he says. You have cancer. You have cancer. I try to rewind. The word positive. Isn't positive a good thing? In fact, I smiled when I heard it because at first I thought it was a good thing. I want to go back to yesterday, to last week. But I'm here now, and this is now. This is now.
When I get home, I pretend as if nothing is wrong. I cook dinner. Greens and crawfish, rice, hot pepper, mango plum. Every time I rub my fingers over my flesh, I pray that I will not feel something under there. But every single time, I do.
He tells me that in a week I will have a lumpectomy. Then you'll start chemotherapy and you will lose your hair. I Google everything he says. There's other stuff too. I find out I'll feel tired. I'll lose my hair. Yes. I may get sick, but they have medicines for that, so probably not. My hands and feet may get numb. And after that, well, after that.
My auntie says they are going to cut off your whole breast. The whole thing. Yes. How can't they just remove the bump? That is what they do. Be brave. Get to the hospital early so that you are in the front of the line. That way the doctors will be fresh. Here is some money from the village women for your journey. When I arrive, there are already 5 people there in front of me. We all sleep outside together. Thankfully, the rain does not fall during the night. And when we hear the cock crow, and when we open our eyes, and when we see the sun come up, the day is bright.
My best friend Julie, the lawyer, has found a lump now. Oh my God, is this an epidemic? I go with her to her appointments.
My chest pains me because they have removed my breast. The wound is awful to see. I touch it gently, for it is the me that I am now.
Julie's case is worse than mine was. I am surprised that I can have had cancer and feel lucky. That is a new feeling lucky. I used to only care about my client base and making money and finding a successful man. Now I think about laughter and flowers and hugs. My apartment is beautiful, but it's empty. I walk from room to room, and I think about finding someone to sit in my house with me. So silly, but really.
My husband has left me. Although I begged him not to take away my children. I begged him. And he has relented. He has left them with me. He says, if the sickness returns, I will come back and take them away from you. I rub their soft cheeks every morning. I am so happy that they are here with me and touching them and feeling their skin. It makes me laugh.
And I laugh because I realize I am breathing in and out. I am breathing.
And knowing that I am breathing makes me feel strong.
And I feel hope because...
I'm
alive.
I'm alive.
You just heard Waking Up by Cori Thomas. Lynnette Freeman played the African villager. Amy Staats played the American urbanite. I'm delighted that Cori Thomas, who wrote Waking Up, is here with us. Hi.
Hi.
I understand you've lived in 7 different countries, including Switzerland, Holland, Cameroon, Liberia, Italy, and Brazil. Has all this traveling contributed to what you choose to write?
Definitely. I think that my plays usually have sort of a multicultural vibe to them, but also even my parental history, my family background is multicultural. My mother is Brazilian and my father was from Liberia, so I am sort of an international person myself.
What gave you the idea to compare and contrast 2 women with the same threatening breast cancer in 2 starkly different cultures?
I think because there's just such a feeling of camaraderie between people who have gone through something traumatic, whatever it is, that it sort of erases any distinguishing factor like your ethnicity or your nationality or gender or anything really. So I think that that's why. And I had done a little research about how it's handled in Africa and, that women become ostracized. It's very much like HIV. So I just, I think that's why. I just wanted to show that we are all so different but so much the same also always.
In this play, these two women fight desperately for life. Can you see writing a play about women choosing to let cancer take its course?
Could I? No, I don't think I personally could because it's sort of a quiet. I've been in the closet for a long time until this play, which a friend asked me to write, actually. But I'm coming out of the closet that I had this illness, and so I did not. I tried very hard as I could, not to let it prevent me from anything. And all of the people that I've met are kind of like that. You usually do not just sit idly. When I went through it, I was just sort of starting to get a little attention as a playwright, and I did not want that to define me. I didn't want to be the playwright with the cancer, or so I didn't want. And so I kind of went about my business, and nobody knew ever. I never stopped working. I just went about my business.
Right.
Had workshops with stitches and lymph nodes removed and all that sort of thing, and didn't, miss anything.
Hooray for you.
I think what happens when you've gone through this, as I was saying, is that the lines of who you are and what your walk in life or anything immediately become erased when you have gone through something. I've met, some high-ranked people and low-ranked people, and you all become it's like a sisterhood or like a club if you've gone through the same thing, even if your specifics are different. And so I just always marveled at that, how many people have gone through it and how immediately knowing it sort of bonds you in a way that you can't really explain. So I think that's what I wanted to try to illustrate. And so even though these ladies never knew each other personally, if they were to meet, I believe they would instantly bond somehow.
It's an inspiration.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to talk with us.
It's my pleasure.
We've just been talking with Cori Thomas, the author of Waking Up. You've been listening to Playing on Air, great American short plays with great American actors. Assistant producers, Rachel Creedberg and Adithya Pratama. Literary manager, Bonnie Antosh. Marketing and education manager, Shelley Horwitz. Development, Lila Becker. Assistant to the artistic director, Eric Judson. Music, Tom Cochan. Recording and sound design, John Kilgore. Playing on Air is distributed by PRX, Public Radio Exchange. For Playing on Air, I'm your host, Claudia Catania. Thanks for listening.